are going to determine what who's going to be elected. I think that's what makes this election so exciting, is that no one has any idea at all who's going to come out on top.
What do you think the undecideds are waiting for?
Well, I think it's been a long, hot summer, and many people just don't get interested until a few weeks before the election. That's always been true, and some who are not strongly committed to a candidate changed their minds. So I think there'll be a lot of movement in the last 3 weeks, and these candidates are going to be campaigning hard all over the state. And as I said, I think it's going to be a nail-biter. And what is really nice, though, is that it's the voters who have made the choice, and whoever they choose is going to be our candidate.
Some of the endorsements are being rolled out now, too. Congressman Pete Hoekstra got the endorsement of James Dobson. I see yesterday that Ted Nugent gave an endorsement to Mike Bouchard, for whatever that's worth. And there was some gossip, too, that Senator John McCain was going to endorse Rick Snyder, but apparently that was premature. What have you been hearing about some of these endorsements, and do you think they make a big difference?
Well, they might to a few people, but I think that in this particular election, from everything we've seen in the polling, it's the issues that are of the greatest concern to people. They're worried about jobs and the economy and their futures in Michigan, and I think that that's going to be the thing they're going to decide on, is who do they think can best lead this state and help restore it to the greatness that it had before. That's the endorsements, as I said, I mean, they may help confirm somebody's thoughts, but I believe that most people have their focus on their futures and the future of this great state.
So you got 4 out of 5 Republican candidates debating tonight at Oakland University Meadowbrook Theater, and that Rick Snyder will not be there. You'll have State Senator Tom George, Congressman Pete Hoekstra, Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard, Attorney General Mike Cox. It's an hour-long debate. WDIV-TV in Detroit. Can other people see it online, or will it be posted or podcasted or anything like that?
It's going to be posted online also by WDIV. So everybody in the state will have an opportunity to watch it live, and then, of course, it'll be available afterwards. President
Obama, is there a certain web address for them? Do they just go to the WDIV website then?
Yes.
Okay. The president's coming back to West Michigan, in fact, on Thursday for about 3 hours to compact power. Barack Obama will be there with some remarks, and that'll be at the intersection of 146th Avenue and Waverly Road. It's a job-creating battery plant. But as I look at U.S. News and World Report, Mort Zuckerman writes this morning that the president has a 45% approval rating. And the words that Mort Zuckerman says are, a year and a half ago, Obama was walking on water. Today, he's barely treading water. 62% of the people in this country believe we're headed in the wrong direction. How did he get elected then? He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, isn't he?
I don't think he's doing – well, yeah, he's bringing about change, but it's not the change that people thought he was going to be bringing about. This is a president who has a different direction than, as we see, now close to two-thirds of the people in this country believe we should be going in, and that's something that's coming out loud and clear. I mean, I think our friends in the Tea Party movement have been the most verbal and vocal about it. They started very early, and now the rest of the people of the country are starting to see what they saw early also, is that this is a direction of a lot more debt and less jobs, and the programs that the president has introduced are just not working. We have to find new directions to stimulate this economy. He's forgotten that businesses create jobs, not government, and these government jobs that he's paying for are all going to disappear. We just don't have the money to continue to pay for them.
On the Republican side, let me ask you this. Mark Halperin in Time magazine says that the poll numbers might be down for the president, but the Republican Party, your party, still lacks concrete ideas. He says that an angry anti-Obama rhetoric's not enough to make the case that the GOP can fix the nation's vast problems. And he says, even more important, in difficult times, voters require a flesh-and-blood alternative to provide leadership and reassurance. Otherwise, they're just going to stick with what they have. And he goes on to say that at this crucial moment, one Republican Party honcho after another has eliminated himself as a plausible spokesperson. What do you think?
Well, I mean, here we go with this President Reagan said, "Here we go again." I mean, they're talking about a presidential election. Quite frankly, in Michigan, we're focused on the election this November, and he's talking about 2 years from November as far as what's going to happen in Washington. And I'm sure that's important to everyone. But this is not yet the point in time when presidential candidates are supposed to be coming out of the sticking out of the woodwork and rising. And I think we'll see that the moment this election is over, as we go into the new year. I believe there will be substantial different ideas than the direction that Obama's going in right now, which is to tax and spend and try to bring this all back through government fiscal policy. And there are obviously alternatives, and one of those is to figure out the ways to stimulate businesses and businesses growing, and that's what we haven't seen. That's what we haven't seen in Michigan for 8 years, and look what the damage that's been done.
Still, though, the president coming into West Michigan on Thursday, that presumably provides a lift to the Democratic candidates. I mean, when you do get into the general election, I would think there will be some effort on the Republican side to use the president against whoever the Democratic candidate is, especially if the president's approval rating is down at 45, to draw that clear distinction, right, between Democrat and Republican. So if Obama is the anchor to the Democratic candidate, who are the compelling figures in the Republican Party that lift the Republican message from a national standpoint, trickling down here to Michigan?
Well, I mean, I'm sure we're going to see the various governors of various states who've made it work coming to Michigan to help here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Governor Palente's going to be here, and Governor Barber's going to be here, and some others who have made their states work, and that's what this is about. This is not about what's going on in Washington, although that's going to help a lot. It's what's going on in Michigan. And, you know, if you look at what's taking place right now in the polls, what you see is Republicans are staying as Republicans. Some Democrats are abandoning, but more importantly, the independents who really determine who's going to win an election in today's world, they have been moving and moving and moving towards the Republican side. So that's what's going to win the election. Obama certainly will help charge up the Democrat base, but it's going to take more than the base to win anymore. I mean, it was for a long time the base of Democrats was way more than Republicans. That's not true.
Mm-hmm. In the primary, what sort of voter turnout would you expect? We're 3 weeks away now. It'll be in the heat of summer, as you mentioned. But people don't pay attention till the last minute. There are maybe large amounts of undecided. Do you expect a good turnout? Do you think people are fired up?
Well, it's always less than the general election. I mean, we expect something in the neighborhood of 4 million voters or so in the general election, 3.8 to 4 million voters. In this primary, it'll probably be someplace north of 2 million, but we'll have to see. And how many of them vote in each side is going to be a question, too, because, you know, which side will the independents vote on? Are they going to vote for the Democrat primary or the Republican primary? Both of them are close races that are too close to call.
We'll be very eager to see what happens in tonight's Republican debate. This is the last debate then, correct?
This is the last debate that is being sponsored by the party.
Okay.
I, quite frankly, am not aware of whether they've scheduled some other debates with other organizations. But this is the last party-sponsored debate, and it's one which has advanced rules, and everybody knows what those are going to be. And I think everybody's going to find it very interesting to hear whether one or another of the candidates are going to come up with some new ideas.
If someone's going to go for a game changer, there's a good chance it'd be tonight, right?
I would say so. There's going to be a big audience tonight. I mean, this is our biggest media market, and this would be the time to do it if they're planning to.
Okay, we will talk with you tomorrow morning and find out if that happens. Ambassador Ron Weiser, the chairman of the Michigan Republican Party. Will somebody throw a Hail Mary pass tonight to get back in the game or to try to take command? With only 3 weeks left before the Republican primary and the Democratic primary, the Republican candidates will be debating tonight. We'll have audio and analysis tomorrow morning. It's Michael Patrick Shields all across Michigan.